Hello everyone, my name is Shadow and welcome to my nest. Today I want to talk about... Oh no, it's gonna be one of those, Today I want to talk about Garten of BanBan. And if you enjoy these games, you'd better leave, you'd better click off, because I do not have good things to say about them. Now, if you don't know of what Garten of BanBan is, firstly, can you teach me your ways? I'd love to have this kind of power. And second, leave. You're better off not knowing. Go back to under the rock you've been living. So, yeah, you're better. You're really, really better not knowing what I'm talking about. Okay, now that all the safe people left, well, I wanted to make this video because of one simple thing. The 7th chapter came out, and it got everyone who talks about this series and played the games hyped up. And call me a killjoy if you want, but in my eyes, this is a very serious problem. You might be asking yourself, why? Why would it be a problem that a fandom for a game is happy that one new chapter is coming out? And well, the answer is quite easy for me. It is because, in my opinion, this game was only an quote-unquote improvement because the creators want to keep everyone hooked, and it is working. Don't believe me? Okay, so let's revise all the chapters, shall we? The first one came out as a pathetically obvious Poppy Playtime ripoff. Everyone knows it, everyone talked about it, everyone who played it said, "Oh, so BanBan is the new Huggy Wuggy," or something of the kind. Everyone knew Garten of BanBan was just a shameless cash grab. But it got famous. It blew up, and of course, the Alfark brothers, the developers, saw this as an opportunity to make money, and so they did. The first game was awful. Bad locations, bad setting, bad character design, bad horror, bad chase sequence, bad soundtrack, and a horrible, horrible gameplay. It was stupid. But it was meant to be stupid, it was meant to be lazy, it was meant to be effortless. And the second one wasn't all that different, but since there was no improvement from one to another, people naturally lost a bit of interest. Not much, since the majority of the fan base are children, but still. So they made the third chapter. This chapter was better. Everyone talked about it. Everyone said, "Oh, this chapter is way better than all the others." And I remember a lot of people, including myself at the time, thinking that this was where Garten of BanBan was going to improve. It was going to get better, chapter after chapter. Hopes were up. And then the 4th chapter came out, and it was horrible. Sections clearly meant solely for dragging the game and making it not refundable, which is still a main gimmick of this series. Let's skip Garten of BanBan 5 because it isn't out somehow, and go straight to chapter 6. It was awful, just like expected. Now, much more than with the second chapter, people really got disinterested after this one. And after this chapter, something happened. Something that made me lose all the interest I had in Garten of BanBan. Something that made me realize the Alfark brothers don't give a shit. As you may or may not know, I'm Brazilian. And here in Brazil, there was a very frustrating situation where the Alfark brothers simply treated the Brazilian community of fans very badly because of something only a few people did. I don't know the details, but from what was disclosed, it seems like a YouTuber who did a lot and and I mean it, it was a lot of content analyzing Garten of BanBan, to a point I actually failed to understand his interest, because he really did care for this franchise. He got the 6th chapter in early access and shared it with a friend. He didn't post it before the game was out, he didn't leak it. And yeah, I think sharing something exclusive without asking permission to the creators is bad. But I think it can happen if there is a misunderstanding. It doesn't seem like something obvious, you know? It was, in my opinion, it was just a human mistake. But the Euphoric brothers reacted pretty badly. They simply started treating the Brazilian community very badly. They started treating the biggest YouTubers talking about the game and their whole Brazilian fan base without any respect. And might I say, their game isn't even good for them to claim the fact that they could act like this. Even if their game was Poppy Playtime, they could have acted like this. And Poppy Playtime, in my opinion, is the best masked horror game out there. So yeah, it's very disrespectful that they think they have such a potential like that to treat everyone badly. Like I said, I don't really know the details, but it seems like instead of trying to finding out who, quote unquote, leaked their game, they simply started blocking all of the YouTubers who talked about Garten of BanBan here in Brazil, who played Garten of BanBan here in Brazil. And if I remember correctly, they actually shut off the community for Garten of BanBan. How can you tell me that a developer who treats their game fan base like that cares? They don't care. They don't care for anything that isn't the money they're getting. And don't worry, at this point the problem is pretty much solved. But this issue was what made me realize they don't care. They don't give a shit. They have no interest about the few people who unironically enjoy the trash they put out. They don't care for anything that isn't this load of shit of a game being not refundable. They don't care if you want to see a good game. They don't care if you want to see good horror. They want your money. That's all they want. And you want to know why Chapter 7 makes my blood boil? Do you want to know what this chapter pisses me off? Because this chapter is the goddamn proof. They made the graphics better. They made the animation better. They made the gameplay more interesting. They made more things happen. Because they want to keep everyone hooked. I bet the Jax figure I spent hours sculpting that chapter 8 will be worse. Far worse. It will have some lore, sure, but it will be tiresome, awful, and you will not be refunded for it. You want to know why? Because this shit is literally a conditioning experiment. You don't know what I'm talking about? No worries, I'll explain. Conditioning is the process of training or accustoming a person or animal to behave in a certain way or to accept certain circumstances. And they're doing it to the players, even if accidentally. I'm not saying that they are big masterminds who are making this, but come on. They are also being conditioned. Let's just revise again. They made the first game, it blows up. They made the second game, it's also awful, but it blows up. It blows up. But people start clicking off because they think, oh, it won't get better. And then they make a good game because it's a little bit, it's not good, might I say. It's good in the BanBan standards. And the BanBan standards are literally in hell. It's the bar is on the floor right now. I think it's actually under the floor. But yeah, they make it, people get interested again thinking, ooh, now things will get better. And then they just go back to making their lazy ass work and Oh my god, they literally are just getting warning on breaking up people's hopes for their games. And when some creator actually tries to take the concept of their shit they make and make it good, they start complaining and they say, no, because it's our game, you can make a better version from the game we're spending months doing in 1 week. You cannot simply do that. Well, actually, there was a good side, you know. If they didn't be little pieces of shit with unique keys, we wouldn't have got Indigo Park. And Indigo Park is way more worth it than Garten of BanBan will ever be. So yeah, it's that phrase, you know. You should be inspired by bad stuff, not by good. But yeah. Also, this whole situation with them just reminds me of cases like when brands make a new product and it's a very expensive product, and in the marketing they say, oh, this was going to be way more expensive, you should buy it now that it's, I don't know, let's suppose it's $500. Buy it now that it's $500 because we were going to sell it for $700. It's still expensive, but the fact that you think, oh, this could be way more expensive makes you want to buy it. It's the same manipulation technique. And again, I'm not saying they are doing this on purpose. But you can be manipulative without knowing, especially when there's clearly a pattern. They notice how they learn the formula to make their game sell, and they are using it. And there's a lot of people falling for it. And I also don't mean this to hate on the people who are buying these games. I don't mean this to hate on the people who like these games, you know. I don't like the situation. Don't like there's so much people being fooled by this. Chapter 7 is the best Garten of BanBan game so far, and that's why it pisses me off, because no one should have to wait for 7 chapters to get a barely decent game that is mediocre at best. The quality of Garten of BanBan 7 should have been of the first game. Actually, the first game should have been even better. If Unique Keys can make a way better game than that in 1 week, why couldn't 2 developers together make a good gaming month? Because they're lazy. That's why. And like I said, don't distort my words. I don't think you're in the wrong for liking this franchise. I don't think the Euphoric brothers are villains or manipulators or masterminds, you know. But I think they are in the wrong for not giving their fans a game they can enjoy without having to endure lazy half-assed cash grabs. Like, they have the potential to make games with better quality. Look at the games they made before. Sure, they aren't amazing, but the quality, it's at least decent. It's way better than whatever the hell Garten of BanBan is. The fans deserve so much better, and that's what I want. It's not hate to the Euphoric brothers. It's just I'm criticizing them because it pisses me off how they clearly can make genuinely interesting plot points and characters if only they put in the effort. Like the idea of a parent going to rescue their child that is in kindergarten and finding out that there is a lot more than meets the eye in the place where they put their child is a genuinely interesting concept. And like, Bitter Giggle is a very interesting character. Sure, it's not, theatrical. It's not a masterpiece of a character, but he could have been such a great character if they just polish him a little more. And Garten of BanBan is a tragedy because there's so much things that could be pretty good, but they are just taken out like trash because they, instead of trying to make something genuinely good and earn the money they are getting, they just want to get money. The Garten of BanBan franchise is no different from the studios that make obvious ripoffs from Disney movies. It's no different. And again, it's frustrating because they have so much potential to create genuinely good stories, but they simply won't. Because it's easier. It's easier just to make a bunch of colorful pieces of shit, give them a stupid half-assed name and spend them for kids to see. But I don't think the Fark brothers will do anything. They don't care. And the biggest proof of that is the fact that they killed the fan-favorite character that was Bitter Giggle. The YouTuber casting was also just to get the attention because, oh yeah, Maiden cameo, and oh, there's a Brazilian guy. And this makes me sad because I wanted to enjoy seeing a guy from the same country as I am appear in a famous game. If it was a good game, I would be, jumping with joy. I love seeing Brazil represented, but I simply cannot, I cannot give credit for this game because everything they do, it's so heartless, it's just so soulless. And it was made by humans. This is what makes everything worse. If it was made by AI, at least it would have an excuse, but no. It was made by humans. And it's just this horrible piece of crap. The developers don't care. I've said it many times, but I really want you guys to understand it. No matter how much you talk about it, no matter how much you give them advice, they don't care. And that's why I think Garten of BanBan deserves to have an end. The Alfarki brothers have talent. They can be good, but they don't put in the effort, and it shows. All the games they've made are soulless, heartless. They were just lucky with the most recent try. And that really makes me very sad. This is the first time I've ever talked about Garten of BanBan in this channel, and I sure as hell intend on making it the last time. Why? Because the more it gets talked about, the more people know about it, and the more people know about it, the more this goddamn game gets more famous. And it makes me so sad to see people who care and want to make good games with good stories and are genuinely interesting getting overshadowed by some ridiculous ripoff, and I have no intention on being part of this mass murder of good games. You want some examples? Venge. Venge was a game I've seen announced in a gameplay, and it came out even before Poppy Playtime. It never really got famous, it never really got big. I was just lucky to come across it, and honestly, it inspired me so much. It inspired me in creating my story, it inspired me in some monster designs, It was really an inspiration for me. And it never got the platform I think it should have gotten. Another example, The Friends You Left Behind, Imaginary Friends Asylum. It's a great game with a great story. I find it so interesting, but it's not really being talked about, and it makes me so sad. I find the design so interesting. You can see the care these creators have put into their games. You can tell they didn't just make something for making something. They had a story to tell, and they did their best at it. Maybe it's not Poppy Playtime level of quality. But who cares? It's a game made from the heart. It's a very good game. And it really bothers me so much that while there's such great stories being told and being put in a corner, Garten of BanBan is getting out the spotlight. And what really saddens me is that most of the games that don't really get talked about, they will never shine. They will never have the stage they deserve to have. And it kills them. Maybe it even kills the motivation of the developer, because they think their story is not good enough. So what I'm trying to say is, I beg of you, if you like the mascot horror community and the mascot horror genre, please stop giving the spotlight to bad games. Please, let's stop focusing on the bad sides of it, because if we do, it will only get worse, because there's shameless people who just want to make money, and if you give them the money, it's how the mascot horror genre will become. We're getting new hope with Indigo Park getting cynic and remembering us what a reasonably good game is. But please, can we just agree to stop giving Garten of BanBan the spotlight? Can we just agree to leave it behind? Even if you think it will get better now that the chapter 7 came out, don't get your hopes up. You really shouldn't. Because the developers don't care. They don't care about you if you're invested in the story. So please let's stop giving this stage to Garten of BanBan. And what I'm saying is not to hate on the Euphoric brothers, and it's not to hate on you who likes Garten of BanBan. I don't mean to hate, it's just my opinion. I think that giving Garten of BanBan now the power that it's getting is dangerous for the mascot horror genre in general, you know. I'm not saying that, it's bad because I don't like it. No, I think it's bad because it's dangerous. Because you see, after Garten of BanBan, a lot of mascot horror games have been coming out. Most like bad mascot horror games. I don't remember all the names, but the one with the green dinosaur and you know, there's a lot of them. So please, let's just agree to stop giving them all the power they're getting. I don't think it's fair. Anyways, guys, I'm gonna call it here. I am not usually the kind of YouTuber who likes to do a lot of commentary, especially criticizing stuff and especially being harsh and sounding like a literal hater. I don't like to say bad stuff about, games, especially in my favorite genre, but I really feel like I should say that. It's something that I really feel it's needed to be said. And I know that me and my 15 subscribers ain't gonna do a lot of change in the world, but if one person sees this video and understands that having hope in Garten of BanBan, it's probably a dead end, at least I feel like my mission was complete, I'm not saying the Garten of BanBan can't get better. I'm not saying it's impossible to get better. But I'm saying it's pretty hard. I really doubt that. I think if by some miracle the Euphoric brothers decide that they will do some project that it's out of passion and not just because they want to see the sweet money sleeping in, you know. If they want to do that, I will be welcome to it. I will be open to it. But not for Garten of BanBan. Because, you know, the 8th installment, it's kind of too late to start doing good. But yeah, I'm gonna be leaving now. Thank you for spending this time in here with me in my nest, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye!